there, welcome. My name is Emily Good. If you've never been here before, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're back. So today I am going to be talking about what I thought of The Adventures of Amina al Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. And she is the best-selling author of the Davabad trilogy, which I think is pretty popular. But if you know me, you know that I don't typically read like fantasy, adventure stuff. I just don't really, I just don't typically find myself picking that up. But I saw this in the library. I hadn't heard anything about it. I was just looking at the new releases at the library, and I happened to see the cover, and I just find it to be stunning. And then I flipped open the cover, and I read that Amina is a retired pirate. She was the best in the business, the best on the Indian Ocean, had all sorts of adventures, was a badass woman pirate, and now she's retired. She's living with her daughter on her mom. She's just like having family time. Is she super content? No. Does she miss being a pirate? Yes. But that part of her life is kind of behind her. And then I read on, obviously, that the story takes us. She gets dragged into an opportunity to make a lot of money for her family, and uh, adventure awaits. So that's kind of what drew me in. I am a mom. I sometimes miss my life before becoming a mom. I very, very free spirited. At the drop of a hat, I moved to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I found an apartment on Craigslist, and so I'm very much living a life now as a mom, that maybe I didn't always see for myself. I'm thrilled to death. I always wanted to be a mom, but I guess sometimes I find myself missing my past life, and that's okay. And I love to read about a mom. I love to read about a woman who is taking that part of herself back. So when I read that, for me, that is why I picked up the book. Plus, I'm like, I love pirates. I don't typically read about them, but the reason for me picking it up was pretty much because she's a mom, and she is about to get back in touch with that part of herself. So that's what I'll say. So I did just give a little bit of a summary, but I'll kind of go more into detail. I'm not very good at not spoiling things. I have a tough time knowing what are spoilers and what aren't. So if you haven't read this book, I'll do my best not to spoil anything. But I have to say that I am a bit ditzy, and I'm not very good at not spoiling things. So watch at your own risk, but I'm going to try. Okay, so yeah, so you've got Amina, okay, and she has this past. Some things have happened. She suddenly left her crew after one of her shipmates, one of the people who were underneath of her, got hurt, passed away, and then she kind of stepped away. And now, of course, because she was such a good pirate, and she, has plundered from all over the ocean, people are probably looking for her. So she lives a nice, quiet life. She's got her daughter, who she loves more than anything. And they just live a quiet, little, poor lifestyle. Sort of boring, no magic happening, just very, like, low-key. And that's fine for Amina. But, she's got her little longings. Well, one day, this older, rich woman shows up. And Amina's kind of like, what the hell? Why is somebody at my house? But this woman kind of introduces herself as a grandmother. Her granddaughter has been kidnapped, and Amina ends up finding out. At first, Amina kind of like does, she feels bad, but she doesn't really care, because who's this, And when the woman number one, she tells Amina that she's going to pay her like a sum that's going to carry Amina out throughout the rest of her life, set up her daughter, set up her whole family. They're all kind of struggling financially right now. So that's a good motivator. But then Amina finds out that this woman is the mother of her person who was on her boat with her who passed away in kind of a gruesome way, I believe. So Amina ends up agreeing. And so what I really loved about the beginning part of the book, what kind of drew me in, what kind of kept me reading, was Amina going around. If you've ever seen The Mighty Ducks, okay, it's the second one. Here's going to be my little comparison, and also the Harry Potter movies. So I'll go through the Mighty Ducks first. So you know how in the Mighty Ducks, the second movie, where the gang is all getting back together. That is my favorite part, probably, of the whole movie. I love it when friends had a good time. Now they're separated. They're all living their own separate lives, and somebody brings them all back together. I love it. You get to see all the friends like, oh yeah, come on. We're going to do this. We're going to go back on our task. We're going to get the team back together. I love that. Just something in my heart. It just makes me really happy. And in Harry Potter, it's kind of a different story. And at this point, you can hear I don't really feel the best. So bear with me. So you've got, the last Deathly Hallows Part 2, okay, where Harry Potter is in Hogwarts. He is being threatened by Snape. The whole school is being threatened by Snape that, like, if anybody is hiding Harry Potter, you will be fully punished. And Harry Potter jumps out and he's like, hey Snape, I'm here. And then the whole Order of the Phoenix comes out and they're all like ready to go. I just love when camaraderie happens, and that's what this book was to me. So Amina gets the gang back together again. I really enjoyed seeing her. So the reason why I really liked the first part of the book versus the second part of the book is because I enjoyed Amina getting the gang back together again. I enjoyed that aspect of it for sure. That's like one of my favorites. I really loved, oh my gosh, I can't remember the girl's name. She's a real badass woman. She does her potions and her herbs. Like she poisons people for fun. She was really cool. And the two guys who she rounds up as well, just old friends. She just has to round up her old crew, and they're all living their separate lives now. And I really enjoyed them all coming back together. I loved their friendship. I always felt safe for Amina because no matter the situation that she was in, I knew that people were fighting to the death to get back to her. And I'm just here for a story like that. So I really loved that aspect of it. Again, so I think I kind of have like summarized it for you, but there ends up being magic. There ends up being another side of the story. Like, was the granddaughter actually kidnapped? Amina ends up finding out, like, what's the story there? What are they even? Why has this happened? Who is this person who has taken her? Like what's the story? So she's just kind of trying to figure things out, and she's doing it while being back on the Indian Ocean, being back on her ship. So, I really liked aspects of it. what I will say is that I am not a big fantasy reader. So while I loved the realistic elements of it. I loved the friends all getting back together. I loved the fact that Amina was a mom who was struggling with her identity, struggling with missing the ocean, struggling with missing her ship, struggling with things that she's done. So I really enjoyed a lot of aspects of it. What I will say is that midway through the book, and this could be totally coincidence because I would read the book again. So it's the start of a trilogy. And what I will say is that I was literally thinking it last night when I finally finished it, that I will read this book again once the second book is about to be re-released. Like I didn't hate the book, and I think that I'd get more out of it the second time around. And again, I will be picking up the second book just because I really liked Amina. I really enjoyed being out there on the ocean. I really enjoyed the way that the writer wrote. But so what I didn't love about it, why I'm between a 3 and a 4 star, because a 5 star is like sublime to me. It creates euphoria in my body. I have to have it on my bookshelf. I have to know in my heart that I'm going to reread it. Like, this book is everything to me, and it will stay with me forever. I don't know if Amina will stay with me forever, but I enjoyed the reading experience, and I will definitely reread this before picking up the second book. Just because, like, it's so rare that I do find a fantasy book that I care about, that I can kind of get down with, and this one I did feel like I could. So I feel like, so here's my point. So if you are into fantasy and you can really get down with like magic happening and lots of like fight scenes, like, here's what I'll say about myself is that for fight scenes, I have to say that I have a hard time following along. I'm like, what the hell is happening? I need to see plot happening. I need to like hear the characters' thoughts and stuff. Like, but when a whole bunch of action is happening, I kind of just like check out, which maybe is why fantasy is not for me. But I kept finding myself being like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be reading this right now. Like not tuning out. So, like, the fight scenes and stuff was not for me, but I really enjoyed the story of it. I also enjoyed where Amina ended up at the end. I really liked the way that the book ended. But again, I'm between a 3 and a 4 star for it. Just because, like, the second half of the book, I was kind of like, wait, what is happening? There was just a lot going on. And again, for a non-fantasy reader, it was a lot going on. Like, my little brain can only handle like one plot line, kind of. I can only handle like so many new characters. So that's what I'll say. So I think that if you're into fantasy, if you have a bigger brain than me and you can kind of keep up with lots of different characters and things like that, or if you're smart and you take notes as you read, then I think that you would enjoy this book, and I do think that people should read it. I would love to say that I definitely recommend this book. And again, I will reread it and I will read the second book. I say my favorite thing I've ever read. No, but that's okay. Every book that I read is not going to be my favorite. So I hope that this little, like, what I thought about Amina al-Sirafi kind of helps a person. If they haven't heard of it, or they're kind of in between, I hope that maybe the different points that I liked and also what I didn't like might help you make the decision if you want to read it or not. It's stunning. I really loved reading about the author. I really loved reading about being out on the ocean. I really loved the pirates getting together. I love the fact that she was a mom. A lot of her struggles were absolutely real and relatable to me, and I love that. So there were a lot of realistic aspects, but some of the magical aspects were tough for little old me to follow, but I certainly think that some people might be obsessed with it, and And I would love for the people who will be obsessed with it to read it so that you can let your little obsession happen. So that's what I have to say. That is what I thought of the adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. I hope that you take care. Thank you so much for watching. If you've read it, please let me know. If you haven't, is this the type of book that you want to read? I would love to get more into fantasy. I need something easy, though, to start with. So if you are a fantasy reader and you're like, okay, I wouldn't recommend that one for the start, but here is one that I really recommend, please let me know. Because I would like to. I think I'm going to give myself a few more books to try and then, kind of write myself off maybe as a fantasy reader. I love Harry Potter. I love the magic in that. I loved the way that the story, I love characters. I love characters coming to love each other. I just like good stories. I don't need a big complex magic system that I have to know about. I guess is the point here. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I will talk to you next time for sure. You take care. Have a happy reading experience, whatever you're reading. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.